What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm down at Carolina Auto Direct and we're going to take a look at their 2021 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500. So huge shout out to them for providing this muscle car for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website because they're always getting in some awesome pre-owned inventory. I'll have all that info down in the description. But this GT500 here is finished off in twisted orange and they have a base MSRP right around $70,000. So to start off today's review, we're going to take a look at what powers the GT500. Underneath the hood, you'll find the 5.2 liter supercharged V8 engine paired with the Tremec 7-speed dual clutch transmission. And this pumps out 760 horsepower around 7,300 RPM and 625 pound-feet of torque around 5,000 RPM. This is rear-wheel drive, weighs in right around 4,200 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds, up to its top speed of 180 miles an hour. And it has a fuel capacity of 16 gallons. You can expect to see around 12 miles per gallon in the city and 18 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 107 inches. Its overall length is 190.2. It has a width of 81.9 and a height of 54.3 inches. As we work our way to the exterior now for this GT500, I first want to talk about how you open up the hood because it's a little bit different than a traditional hood. So you'll see on both sides there are functional hood pins. Before you can push on those, you do have to pull on the latch located in the driver footwell. And then from there, just give both of these a good push. You can lift up the hood. We have the normal latch up underneath, and when you have that pulled, then we can go ahead and open up this hood. So it's a really cool design. You'll also see underneath, we do have functional heat extraction vents in the hood. So from the top, you can see those are finished off in gloss black, but it's really neat to have that old school yet modern design with the hood pins. You'll see on the hood too, we have the black racing stripes running right down the middle. And then as we work our way to this front end, it has such an aggressive appearance. You can see that this does have LED headlights and LED DRLs. They have a really nice pattern within the housing itself. Really nice sleek design, and you can see the gloss black and the bodywork that surround them. Really nice lines too, run just off of the corners. We have the turn signal down below with more gloss black trim. You'll see even more gloss black right in the middle of the grille, and there are plenty of cutouts to provide cooling to the supercharged engine. You'll see the Shelby logo in the top section. There's also GT500 stamped in the right side of that centerpiece. Shelby is down on the lower splitter there. And we have some really nice contoured lines surrounding the entire grille just to give it a really unique design. This definitely gives it a muscular appearance. And then as we work our way to the side, with the GT500, we get 20-inch wheels. They measure 11 inches wide. And you can see behind this, we have the Brembo brakes. This has 6 pistons up front and 4 pistons in the rear. You'll see that stripe continue down the roof where there's also the shark fin antenna. You can see the side mirrors are finished off in gloss black, and they also have the integrated turn signal. There's another Shelby badge on the front section there. You can see gloss black stripes running down the lower section just to tie it in nicely. I think the gloss black really gives it a great accent, especially against this orange. And you can see there's really nice lines running down the side. There's one going right through the height of the door handle, and then we have another one going all the way back to the spoiler. And then in the rear, you can see these stripes continue to the top section of the trunk where we have this massive fixed wing. Definitely gives it a really nice look. This also has another Shelby logo right in the middle. Along with the backup camera, you can see more gloss black separating the LED taillights. This also has these sequential turn signals, which gives it a really nice design, very iconic for the Mustang. We have the 3D design for the taillights too. And then down in the lower diffuser, you can see a lot more contoured lines. We have the dual exhaust on both sides, which will start up here soon. And I also forgot to mention too, down on the lower side skirts, we have the rocker panels, where it just helps provide a little bit better aerodynamics and gives it a great look. And then I also forgot to mention the only Ford badge you'll see on the exterior is front and center on the windshield. The rest are all Shelby logos or GT500, but this definitely has a really nice exterior design. Before we hop to the interior, let's remote start this and listen to the GT500. So you do have to lock it first, and then double tapping on this button, you will hear it come to life. It is very instant. You can also shut the vehicle off if you'd like to just by tapping on that button. But now with the car locked and the key in my pocket, I'll just grab the door handle. You can hear it unlock, and we can move on to this door panel now where you'll see there's black leather along with some white leather and really nice stitching. We have some dark trim on the release handle. You can see lock and unlock. We have more of that brush trim on the grab handle. All of the mirror controls and the side mirror adjustments are just behind that. And you can see a little bit of storage space down below, and then one of the 9 speakers for this audio sound system. And then down on the door sill, you can see Ford Performance spelled out. And moving on to these Recaro bucket seats, you can see the Shelby logo right in the center. We have the cutouts. Really nice two-tone design with the white and black leather. There's even suede running down the inserts. Now these are manual adjusting seats, so there is a bar in the front to slide it forwards and backwards. And then on the side, you can see the height adjustment as well as recline and incline. As we work our way to the interior now for this GT500, even with the amount of support that these Recaros have, it's actually pretty easy to enter and exit. There is a low door sill. We have that grab handle that you can easily reach. As we work our way to the steering wheel now, it's completely covered in alcantara. You can see some white stitching along with the center white stripe right in the middle and really nice dark trim finishes in all three corners here. Now let's go ahead and fire this up. So with my foot on the brake, we have the engine start stop button over on the right side, and we can bring this to life. And then looking at this digital gauge cluster, the vehicle is currently in normal mode right now, so this is how it will appear. Over on the left side, you can see the tach as well as the engine temperature. Right in the middle of the tach, you can go through the different driving modes, which I'll show here soon. Over on the right side is miles per hour and the fuel gauge. You can see a small indicator for the steering wheel and the suspension for those different modes. And then right in the middle, you can go through some information using these arrows over on the right side. So if I scroll down, you can look at trip information as well as fuel economy and your tire pressure. And then if I push on the Cobra button on the top here, you can go through a lot more information. You can go to my mode, so you can configure that how you'd like to. You can look at track apps, your performance shift indicator, so you can look at your shift point if you want it to make a noise or not when you're getting higher up in those RPMs. You can also go to gauges and configure all of these, which I'll show here shortly. If we go back to Cobra, you have the exhaust modes that you can go into and your cluster appearance. So for the different driving modes, you can go through all of that. So if we hop to that now, over or down below, you can see this mode dial. So if I go up to normal, you can see that appear over on the left side. If I go into sport, the entire gauge cluster will change, where now you can see the tach running across the top. We still have miles per hour over on that right side. If I go up to track now, it will change again. And now you can see just the tach. The miles per hour is a little bit smaller. And then we do have one more driving mode, that is drag strip. You have slippery, and we're back to normal. So it's really neat to see that you can configure the gauge cluster to automatically change when you do that. Also over on this right side, we have Bluetooth and voice commands, you have navigation, you also have a settings button too, so you can go through all this information as needed, just depending on what you'd like to see. And then over on this left side, you can see volume and tuning for the radio. We have cruise control, and then the two dials for your suspension and your steering. So as I mentioned earlier, over on that right side, you can see your different suspension settings. We have normal and sport. And then for the steering wheel, you can see normal and sport as well, along with comfort too. So just depending on how you'd like to drive this, it's really nice to have all of these controls on the steering wheel. And this also has these steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. They're actually quite large. You can see just how big they are. Definitely have a really nice design to them and a good finish. And then as we move over to the left side of the steering wheel, you can see the trunk release as well as the headlight controls. There's one air vent. You'll see right in the center, we have the Bang and Olufson sound system. So you'll see one of those speakers. And then we have a few gauges. We have your oil pressure and your oil temp, along with an air vent on both sides. And then we have the touchscreen system just below that. So if I go up to the upper left there and click on home, you can pull up this here where we have the navigation along with audio and phone when those are on and paired, of course. Down below, we have shortcuts for your audio. You can also go into your climates, so adjust all this information. You have the defrosters, your dual zone climate that you can adjust. You can also go into your phone, pull up that navigation in full screen. There are different apps that you can use. And then you have all these settings that you can go into, just various information that you can adjust as needed. And then we do have a few buttons right in the middle for tuning and the radio. You'll see on this left side is volume for the radio, tuning is on the right side. And then there are physical buttons for all of the climates. You can see the temperature on driver and passenger, so you'll see that appear on the screen as needed. Fan speed is right in the center. We have the rear defroster and a few other controls. And then down below with these toggles here, you'll see the engine start stop. We have the hazards, traction control. You have the different exhaust note tones just by using this toggle. So you'll see normal, you can go to sport. There's also track and then quiet mode. So it's really nice just depending on how you'd like to drive this, you can control that. And then the mode button on the far right side is for the different driving modes. So you have the one on the steering wheel as well as that one down below. You'll also see there's a little bit of storage space where you could place your phone. There's a 12 volt and a USB. We have the electronic parking brake, and then right in the middle here is the dial for your gears. So you have park, of course, you can twist it once for reverse, where you'll see the backup camera up here along with the guidelines. You can go all the way over into drive, and then we have the manual mode, which allows you to use those paddle shifters. I can twist it all the way back to the left for park. You'll see there are 2 cup holders right in the middle, and then if I open up the center armrest, there's actually a good amount of storage. You can see another 12 volt and USB, so you can charge electronics, along with this small tray over on that one side. And then working our way to the glove box now, you'll see there's plenty of room for all of that information. And we also have a GT500 chassis number right above that in this trim piece. Gives it a really nice design. We'll take one last look at these Recaro seats. And then up top, you can see the dome lights, and of course we have the rear view mirror. Now it's time to take a look at the rear seats for this GT500. So you'll see I have the driver's seat folded up there, and at 5'10", I can work my way into the back seats, where I do have the front seat a little bit farther forward than I would sit, but you can see I have room for my feet and my knees, and my head is up against the headliner here. Now this is not meant to be a full 4-seater vehicle, but I could be back here if I was riding around town. These are functional back seats where you could put people. You can see that the seat does dip down a good bit, so that gives you a little bit more headroom. And you can see we have plenty of visibility out of these back seats. They're also good for extra storage. You could place some items here and they won't roll around with how deep this is. And you can also fold the back. So you can pull on that there, fold both of these down. That'll give you a nice flatter surface where you can put in larger items and pass them through to the trunk if you need to. And then last up, we'll take a look at the trunk storage space. You can use the button on the key fob. There's also a hidden one up underneath where you can release that and open this up. And you'll see with the back seats up, there's a lot of space. This is a very usable trunk. When you fold down the back seats, you can see just how much larger it gets, just making this a much more versatile muscle car. You'll see we have a subwoofer over on the passenger side, a little bit more storage over on that driver's side there. And then up underneath the floor, if I pull on this, you'll see we have a lot more room. You can put in any items down here that you need to, just making it a little bit more practical. And you can see a tire inflator in the middle there too. And then we have a very lightweight trunk. You can grab on it and easily close it up. All right, so getting this 2021 Shelby GT500 out on the road. This is a very cool muscle car. This is the top of the line. If you want the best of the best for the Ford Mustang, this is it, the Shelby GT500. Now we have the dual clutch transmission, which I'm gonna go ahead and put it into the manual setting. I kind of do wish that it offered a manual, but you just can't beat how quick these shifts are. So we're gonna drop it down. We're just in normal mode at the moment. Those are incredibly quick. They are very responsive, but that was in normal mode. We're gonna go up into sport mode for all of the suspension as well as the steering. We're just gonna put it all into the sport mode. I'm not gonna go into track mode at the moment, but we have everything in sport mode. It's gonna get a little bit loud. I'm not doing anything crazy. I am definitely short shifting because this is not my vehicle, but wow. This is my first time ever being behind the wheel of one. I've been able to check them out, but not even quarter throttle, and this is quick. Wow. Those shifts are so smooth. Different driving modes, because this could be your daily driver. You could buy this, drive it every single day, put it in quiet mode if you're leaving the house so you don't annoy the neighbors, and then once you get out, put it into sport, track, whatever you want. You have the drag strip mode too, so that way you can take this to the drag strip from the factory. You can just get out on this drag strip. You can take this to the mountains, to the track. You have so many different ways that you can drive this, just depending on where you're taking it. And you also have the practicality of this being a Mustang. We have the back seats. Now at 5'10", I'm a little bit cramped, but I could ride around town if I needed to be in the back. And then switching to the POV angle now, before we get out on the road, let's just talk about visibility. So over this right shoulder here, you can see we have a very thin pillar, so you can see out of that window if you need to. You have your side mirror, of course. Over my left side here, there's a little bit of a pillar there, but it's really not all that bad. You have your other side mirror too, so you can easily see around this entire vehicle. There's really no blind spots, which is great. But now let's go ahead. We're gonna put everything into a track or sport mode, and then we'll give it a little bit of gas. This is definitely a quick vehicle, and I'm not bringing it to its full potential by any means. But this is so much fun to drive. And it sounds really good too. I love that the steering wheel is alcantara here. Definitely gives it a great feel. So here's what it's like to be behind the wheel of the GT500. We have a really nice center infotainment system too. It's pretty simple, but it has everything that you need. All of the buttons are laid out well too. So it's nice that there's not an overload of buttons in the middle, but this is more of just a driver's car. You just hop in it, set it to however you need for the day, and take this out and just have a blast. Now you could get out on some back roads like I am right now. Being rear wheel drive though, you just want to be careful, of course, because we have a lot of power being sent to those rear wheels. But it definitely handles very well for the turns that I'm able to do today. It is so quick in those shifts. It's very awesome to see that. So we're gonna give it one last acceleration for today's video. We're gonna go down to first gear, and even coming around this turn, we are up to speed just like that. Definitely an awesome muscle car. Once again, huge shout out to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this Shelby GT500 for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. All that info is down in the description. If you enjoyed today's review, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. And I'll see you guys in the next video.